I think that just as we're living in a nuclear age, we have grown so tremendously in scientific knowledge. It doesn't seem too much to say that men can begin to awaken to the fact that they haven't grown enough spiritually and haven't recognized their spiritual capacities.
Once something like eating is death, then you've struck at the very heart of life. The enemy of the older radical theories may have been the ruling class, but today the stakes of whether we will reform ourselves into a new kind of human being, a new kind of society, whether we will find selves worth being, the stakes of it are simply life itself.
To really see how our economy brings relative prosperity only at the expense of our feeling less materially and emotionally secure, often anxious, empty, and lost, we must take some large steps back and get an even more sweeping and comprehensive view of what has happened to us, remembering that we are, among other things, creatures. We comprise a physical species that, like all other species, has limits as to how fast it can adapt to changes in the environment. When change happens too fast, sometimes species become extinct, and sometimes a few who are more capable of rapid and radical change survive and move the species to a new level. Either way, for almost all species, too much rapid change produces anxiety, suffering, and even death. For humans, arguably, this process is made worse by the fact that we are more conscious and therefore capable of a much deeper fear and anxiety than any other creatures on the planet. Wendell explains that we can take those fears and anxieties, at least partly caused by our feelings of helplessness as we automate and specialize our way into incompetence, into our role as consumers and voters. Quote, "In our time, the rule among consumers has been to spend money recklessly. People whose governing habit is the relinquishment of power, competence, and responsibility, and whose characteristic suffering is the anxiety of futility, make excellent spenders. They are the ideal consumers. By inducing in them little panics of boredom, powerlessness, sexual failure, mortality, paranoia, they can be made to buy or vote for virtually anything that is attractively packaged."